Today's lesson focuses on global agendas and actions on peace. The most recent and groundbreaking agenda on peace is presented within the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals, also known as Global Goals or SDGs, are a universal call for action in order to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity. SDGs are 17 main goals with several targets and indicators. They are based on the continuation of Millennium Development Goals or MDGs. MDGs managed to contribute to the elimination of several challenges and problems presented in the 2000s. However, SDGs are more broader and comprehensive, including new areas as well as economic inequality, innovation, climate change, and peace and justice. Global goals are interrelated, so the world needs to tackle with all of these issues rather than only one. So, problems within one state is not bordered by its own political borders. It goes beyond that border with cooperation and partnership among the stakeholders. Time given to us was 15 years, till 2030. Now we have 13 years left. Among 17 goals, Goal 16 is one of the most crucial and urgent one the world needs to achieve. It's on the peace and justice. Global Goal 16 is dedicated to the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, the provision of access to justice for all, and building effective, accountable institutions at all levels. Peace and justice comes together as they are the basis on achieving equality, prosperity, and better lives for humans around the world. Without access to justice and transparency, conflicts remain unresolved and services become ineffective. We already know from our previous lessons that violence and insecurity is a large challenge of the world, affecting development, economic growth, and damaging societies as a whole. Therefore, Goal 16 have 12 targets and 23 indicators to call for all stakeholders to take into account in their activities and in their programs. Let's have a look at these 12 targets. The first one is significantly reducing all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. The second one, end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against and torture of children. The third one is promote the rule of law at the national and international levels and ensure equal access to justice for all. The fourth one is by 2030 significantly reduce illicit financial and arms flows, strengthen the recovery and return of stolen assets, and combat at forms of organized crime. The fifth one is sustainably reduce corruption and bribery in all their forms. And the sixth one is develop effective, accountable, and transparent institutions at all levels. Seventh one is ensure responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative decision-making at all levels. The eighth one is broaden and strengthen the participation of developing countries in the institutions of global governance. The ninth one is by 2030 provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. The 10th one is ensure public access to information and protect fundamental freedoms in accordance with national legislations and international agreements. Then there is A, strengthening relevant national institutions, including through international cooperation, for building capacity for all levels, in particular in developing countries, to prevent violence and combat terrorism and crime. Then there is B, which is promote and enforce non-discriminatory laws and policies for sustainable development. So, knowing the fact that achieving all these targets will enable the world to be a much better place by 2030. But the main question is, what can we do? As a citizen and a young person, we need to avoid apoliticism. This means it's important to take interest in the work of governments and advocate for human rights and peace in order to keep decision makers accountable and responsible for their actions. This activism comes along with raising awareness on the importance of peace and outcomes of violence among people and encourages them to be involved and active as well. Therefore, implementation of SDG 16, achieving peace and justice, a lot more depend on us. And if you also feel like you can do a small step, start now and research more about it and about the prioritization of your government on SDGs, and follow more about SDGs on these websites. Thank you very much.